In your opinion, is it money well spent for school districts to spend money to have people like you in their schools?
I definitely think it is. I mean, just from the prevention angle.
School resource officers are a fixture in our nation's schools. In an era of school shootings, the interest in having their protection has perhaps never been higher. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jane McCarthy.
And I'm Mark Hanrahan. School districts across the nation are paying thousands of dollars every year to have school resource officers around. So I set out to learn how much our local districts are paying and what they get for their money.
I really enjoy working with the kids.
For the last 8 years, Spokane County Deputy Ed Cashman has put on his uniform and reported for duty at West Valley High School.
Has your job changed at all in those 8 years, or what you do, has that changed at all?
No, I don't think it's changed. I think it's some of the safety and security aspects of it have become amplified with the recent incidents, especially what's happened here in our own county.
He's talking about Freeman High School. In September of last year, a student opened fire inside the school, killing Sam Strahan and wounding 3 more students. Deputy Cashman says the tragedy at Freeman and more recently in Parkland, Florida, has resonated with staff and students.
The community, the staff, the students are all taking safety and security a lot more seriously.
And there's not a day that goes by he doesn't ask himself, what if?
Every day I walk onto a campus, I run scenarios through my head. If there's an incident happening down here, how am I going to respond to that? If this were to happen, how am I? So it's a lot of what ifs.
Deputy Cashman is the West Valley School District's lone school resource deputy. His office is here at the high school, but he responds to all the district's 11 schools as needed. As a commissioned law enforcement officer, he carries his duty pistol at all times.
Do you feel like you provide a better service to the school in terms of security by you being here every day versus maybe you just patrolling this area and responding as needed to the school?
Oh, absolutely, because a lot of what I do is prevention, which is really hard to quantify. But a lot of what I do is prevention.
To have Cashman here, the district is paying a portion of his salary to the sheriff's office to the tune of roughly $36,000 this school year.
That arrangement is pretty common. I reached out to a dozen school districts across the inland Northwest asking how many school resource officers they have and how much they pay. Generally speaking, school districts share the cost of an SRO's salary with the law enforcement agency they work for. Smaller districts generally have fewer school resource officers. Larger districts have more. For example, like the West Valley School District, the East Valley School District has 1 school resource deputy at a cost of roughly $36,000. Over in North Idaho, Coeur d'Alene Public Schools has 8 school resource officers at a cost to the district of nearly $350,000 a year.
The exception is Spokane Public Schools. The state's second largest district employs 17 of its own campus resource officers, 3 administrators, and 14 who work directly in the classrooms. They undergo training at the police academy and carry handcuffs, pepper spray, and 2-way radios in schools, but they are not armed with guns. A district spokesman tells KREM 2 the average salary for each of those 14 CROs is $71,000 for a cost of nearly $1 million a year, all paid by the district.
Do you feel like your parents are more at ease knowing there's a deputy here?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Back at West Valley High School, this group of juniors and seniors tells me they're not consumed by the fear of a school shooting, but they do feel better having Deputy Cashman walking the halls.
Yeah, you definitely feel a lot safer. It just gives you a sense of security when you're in class.
I feel better knowing that someone who's trained in things like that can protect us.
Whatever you need, he's always going to be there for you, looks out for you, just a great guy.
In terms of jobs you've had within the sheriff's office, how's this one rank for you?
Oh, by far, this is my favorite job.
Deputy Cashman says he'll continue his work, educating students, investigating threats, and preparing for the scenario he hopes never happens.
Do you feel like you've prevented incidents, not necessarily shootings per se, but you've prevented incidents just by having a presence here?
Yes, for sure. I definitely have prevented fights. And what's scary about fights these days is they tend to escalate.
So you may be wondering why the campus resource officers at Spokane Public Schools don't carry guns on them at school. I reached out to the district. They gave me several reasons in response, and among them they point out their schools are in an urban setting. So if a critical incident like an active shooter were to happen, they say you'd have as many as 3 major law enforcement offices, agencies responding at one time. And that's compared to more rural school districts where law enforcement coverage just isn't as dense. We have much more information about school districts and what they're paying for their school resource officers on our website. Just head to KREM.